boy. We've sure come a long way from those old League of Legends cinematics. Back then, the clunkiness and quality of those trailers reminds me of those cheap Chinese knockoff games. It doesn't do this game justice. Nowadays, there are plenty of cinematics, focusing on champions and lore. It's so expansive that Riot can make anything with its characters and knock it out of the park. So why not rank some of my favorite ones? Welcome to the League of Legends Top 11 Cinematics. The criteria to make the list are that the trailers have to be cinematic, of course. They can be any style, animation, CG, just no in-game footage. Meaning that the whole video has to be pre-rendered and not actually representative of the actual game. Finally, the cinematic can be about anything, as long as they focus solely on the world and characters that inhabit Runeterra or its alternate universes. Which means we're going to have to exclude Warriors, Legends Never Die, Rise, Ignite, and a few others from the list. The reason is that while Legends Never Die and Ignite do have lead characters appearing in their respective trailers, they also refer to their esports scene. And as we know, we can't play as Odd One or Faker. Even though we want to. Number 11. Pentakill. Mortal reminder. The people of Bandle City lived together in harmony, but everything changed when Pentakill arrived. Featuring the made-up metal band composed of Karthus, Mordekaiser, Olaf, Yorick, and Sona, with its most recent addition being Kael. The band arrives to cause collateral damage and to convert the Yordle populace into metalheads. The cinematic is accompanied by the track Mortal Reminder, a song from their album Grasp of the Undying, which gives it a lot of personality. Me not being a fan of heavy metal is the reason why the cinematic ranks so low, as well as characters I don't particularly care about, aside from Sona. But I did get a huge kick seeing the band cause mayhem. There were also some appearances from the Yordles Rumble, Tristana, Poppy, and Teemo. And the highlight was seeing a pissed off Teemo get his face kicked in and punted like a football. Number 10. A Twist of Fate. Prior to this trailer's release on May 25th, 2013, the cinematics that were released by Riot at the time would best be considered rough and unpolished. A Twist of Fate takes the distinction of being their first leap in quality. Featuring the likes of Twisted Fate, Fiddlesticks, Tryndamere, Annie, and Garen, it was a montage of various champions facing against each other. Those familiar with the game will recognize the display of abilities throughout the cinematic, a trait shared through the other cinematics as well. We even get to see Baron Nashor at the end, redesigned for League's eventual visual upgrade. A Twist of Fate was the type of trailer to show off cool stuff instead of going in depth with the champions. And it unfortunately feels like a generic CG game trailer. This cinematic would end up becoming the stepping stone for the high quality stuff that would come later though. Oh, I almost forgot. We finally get our first high quality render of Katarina. Yes, 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 yes! Number 9. Daya and Recon, Wild Magic. Featuring the Vestian marksman Daya and her support Recon in the cinematic, we get to see these two lovebirds flex their muscles as they take on Zed and the Order of Shadow. It's the little things that set this one apart. The synergy between Daya and Recon when dealing with Zed's lackeys, to the one-off expressions they give each other. It's really cute. I do think some of the models are a little wonky, like Recon for instance. Sometimes he just looks off. It seems like the animators were trying to make him look handsome, but they made him look old instead. I blame the lines around his mouth. I just saw them as wrinkles. Of course, the fight between Zed and Daya is the biggest highlight for the cinematic, and Daya showcases just how powerful she is. Thankfully, she can't fire that many feathers in game because that would be OP as f. Sadly, this cinematic only ranks at 9 on the list because there's nothing making it distinct. What I'm trying to say is, it's basic. However, it was a reveal trailer for Daya and Recon, but it's not the best introduction to a character I've seen. Number 8. Annie, Origins. If you were to ask Riot to channel their inner Stephen King when making a short, then Annie Origins would be the result. This cinematic follows a titular character before she gets her powers of pyromancy. A normal life with her birth father, stepmother who hates her, and stepsister Daisy, but life always plays out in unexpected ways. Because on a day playing outside, her sister Daisy falls into the river and drowns. Watching Daisy lose her grip was depressing. As night arrives, Annie awakens her powers from the influx of emotion and inadvertently causes her father's death as he tries to save her. And just to beat a dead horse, Annie releases Tibbers for the first time on her raging stepmother. She had a good reason. Her stepmother went crazy. I ended up really liking this short just because of how dark it was, and how it made me like a character I usually despise playing against. You really empathize with her as this horrible situation literally bursts into flames. There are some small lore moments up for interpretation, like showing that her real mother's soul resides in Tibbers, not to mention the weird coincidence that Annie's sister is named Daisy, and Iron's ult is named Daisy, and you get some Illuminati stuff going on here. And don't forget how the whole short has a paintbrush aesthetic to it, giving some great wallpaper moments. That was probably what impressed me the most. It really makes this lore cinematic special. It's fantastic. I just have one more thing to say. And are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Number 7. Endless Starlight, Sparkle of Life. The shortest video on this list, this trailer follows the Star Guardians, a group of magical girls who fight evil by moonlight and win love by daylight. Wait, that's the wrong show. Not to be confused with its English counterpart, Burning Bright, Endless Starlight is the Japanese version of the trailer. You can't out-Japanese the Japanese because while technically they're the same thing, both using the same visuals, I give the edge towards Endless Starlight in this list because Japan went beyond the Call of Duty with its music choices. The different music really makes a difference, and I feel like I'm watching the original Japanese intro versus an intro in the 90s by 4Kids. I just really like the Japanese version. Visually, it has a CG anime look to it, fitting if you consider that the skin line is emulating Sailor Moon and Magical Girls. I also like how it tells a story. You have the group in conflict because Jinx doesn't want to be a team player. Its aftermath with how the group is dealing with it, and the end where they all patch it up and fight the bad guys. And don't forget the lollies. Always got to have the lollies. They somehow gave us a half-an-hour episode of anime condensed into a minute and a half. I'm serious though. This is like the plot of an anime episode. And I love it! Why does it have to be short though? Number 6.
Hey, dummy. Do you ever dream of a
Welcome
life
aboard
among stars?
Odyssey.
Well, now you can live that dream.
League of Legends meets the Guardians of the Galaxy. Or WildStar, I guess, but that reference doesn't work out because WildStar's a dead game. This trailer is set as a recruitment video to join the crew of the Morningstar. Composed of Jinx, Yasuo, and Malphite, they advertise why you, the unlucky viewer, should join their crew. With Jinx doing the talking, we get a glimpse of what a normal day on the ship looks like. It's dysfunctional. Very dysfunctional. And what can I say? This trailer is a blast. The characters take the spotlight as they interact with each other and continually get on each other's nerves. Since Jinx is the one that talks the most throughout the trailer, she ends up stealing the show. That doesn't mean we don't get to see the other characters. There are little moments like Yasuo's tendency to read what I assume are trashy romance novels, and we even get to see some Kane action as he threatens the crew in a video message. And of course, we get to see the person that they're trying to recruit in the end. I feel like the humor is pretty spot on, again mirroring Guardians of the Galaxies, and I really hope we get more videos following the crew and their adventures. Number 5. A New Dawn. If you've ever wondered what a Summoner's Rift game looked like in a cinematic, A New Dawn's got you covered. This trailer primarily centers on Ahri's point of view, but we get to see a good range of champions, ranging from Leona to even Zyra. Since the cinematic is emulating the game mode, we're seeing champions fill in the roles in an actual Summoner's Rift game, circa 2014. Meaning we get to see Graves AD carry. It was a simpler time back then. There's also Katarina, who looks nice. It's 5v5 as each team fights for supremacy, taking each other out with only a few left standing. The biggest highlight for me has gotta be Katarina's fight with Rengar. Them fighting the trees is awesome, and a bit alluring. Another part that's pretty cool is Nautilus, helping out Darius in his fight with Jax. While we're at it, let's talk about Nautilus. He's huge. It's scary. Graves went out like a boss, taking him out. I also found it kind of amusing that they cut off from some of the kills, just barely leaving it to the viewer's imagination. Like this. Or this. I'm just imagining Draven's face just carved the frick out. Like every other cinematic, it's the small moments that give it a certain charm. Get it? Because Ahri's using charm. Speaking of Ahri, my biggest complaint is probably the way she was rendered. It's just off. Compare this to her render at the World's 2018 finals, it's night and day. Granted, this was a relatively early cinematic, and they've had time to fix this type of thing. Complaints aside, it's a fun ride, and this would be the last time we get a cinematic emulating a game mode, before moving on to the lore-centric and alternate universe stories. But to be honest, it's not a bad way to go out. Number 4. Light and Shadow. We return to the world of the Star Guardians as we see Nico fighting for her life against Zoe and the corrupted Daya and Recon. It's one giant chase scene as the 3 evil Star Guardians try to corrupt Nico. They almost end up succeeding if not for the timely entrance of Ahri. Like I said before with Endless Starlight, I love anime, and this did everything right for me. First off, the music is so good. Composed by Hiroyuki Sawano of Attack on Titan fame, the music he composed does a great job of bringing hype and mystique, and it fits the scenes perfectly. The vocals are beautiful, and I'm surprised to say that the music stands great by itself. As for the animation, I am seriously impressed. It combines CG animation with hand-drawn animation. It especially surprised me when the use of 2D techniques started showing up, like the thick lines during Nico's ult, and paintbrush aesthetic during the confrontation between her and Zoe. Sometimes the hand-drawn is intercut with the CG, and it blends in really well. It truly felt like I was watching actual anime. I would really love if Riot released the behind-the-scenes making of this trailer. And don't forget the way the characters interacted. Not a single word is uttered in this cinematic, yet the emotion and stake is out in full force. Especially if you read the backstory on each of the characters. Not only that, the event in the cinematic is set during the Guardians' slumber party. That's pretty neat. Ahri had something to do though, which is most likely this, and thank God. She ended up saving the day. By the time Ahri arrives, you're exhilarated. It's such a shame that we have to wait another year for the next one, because I want more. Number 3. Awaken.
The night beckons while you...
Released at the beginning of Season 9, this music video features 9 characters, with all of them in the torrents of battle. Set to the song of the same name, we get to see characters fighting in 3 set locations. The first to talk about is the Ionia battle, which debuts Irelia and the Ionia army as they battle Noxus, with Sion leading those troops. As the Ionia army starts losing ground, Karma, Akali, Yasuo, and Kennen arrive to save the day. There's a lot of neat things in this part. Irelia's gracefulness with her blades to Yasuo's huge steel tempest wrecking stuff up. But I want to commend Sion for being the monster he is, as it takes the combined force of the Ionia champs to even hurt him. The second encounter features Jin in an abandoned theater located in what I presume is Piltover. Camille and her police force arrive only to realize that it's a trap. Pretty straightforward this one, but it's pretty cool that Jin treats it more like a performance than a fight. You even get to hear a full violin part in this section. It's a nice touch. And finally, the piece de resistance. In a Noxus arena with Draven watching the combatants, a lone woman rises. Oh yeah. Riven finally makes her cinematic debut. And it's awesome. We get to see her fight the gladiators, she gets to have a mic drop moment, and then we finish it off with her fight with Draven. She's my favorite character in League, so of course I'm gonna be biased. Of course I am! Without her, I would have placed this a bit lower on the list. One thing that I don't really like is the song. It's good, I'm not denying that fact, but it feels samey. Compared to Legends Never Die and Worlds Collide, you could hear their influence. Different singers, but same feel. Awaken is a song whose presence could be at Worlds, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Aside from that, there's a lot of good. A number of champions get the spotlight, and they really stand out in this cinematic, but a part of me wishes some characters got more screen time. There are some great close-up shots, and the champion models are on point. I love the use of slow-mo in some of these scenes, with the action moments really standing out. And I will never be disappointed in seeing Riven show up. Right? You know what to do. Put her in everything! Lore videos, music videos, I eat Riven up like breakfast! That came out wrong. Number 2. KDA, Pop Stars. So Riot started a Korean pop group. Wait, what? You know what? I'm kinda okay with this. Pop Stars was released during the finals of Worlds 2018. In fact, they did a live performance of it, with the actual singers voicing the characters. Pop Stars also served the purpose of advertising the skin line. Absolute genius. Starring Ari, Akali, Evelynn, and Kaisa as the fictional members of the band, they are voiced by Mion and Soyeon of G-Idol fame. Filling out the last 2 members are Madison Beer and Jaira Burns. It's self-explanatory, it's a music video. A really well-made music video that can give professional music videos a run for their money. I could gush about this one for a while, folks, so sit down and relax, but let's get the bad out of the way. It's really just one thing that I have a problem with, and it's that while everyone gets the spotlight, Kaisa ends up the most gypped. Everybody gets a section to sing, except for her. All she really does is walk and dance, which made me think she didn't have a singing part in the song. It wasn't until I watched a video on YouTube that showed who sang what, and I found that Kaisa sings quite a bit of the chorus. Well, geez, thanks for not showing us more Kaisa. So much hate. The other 3 get a lot more screen time. Evelynn kind of gets the same treatment, but her parts are more substantial, and Ari and Akali get some cool solo bits. And speaking of solo bits, Akali's rap solo is the best part of this video. It pretty much stole the show, and as you can expect, her popularity skyrocketed. You wanna know why? She got a prestige skin, after popular demand. I just wanna add I grinded for this thing legitly, as well as Riven's. I'd do anything for her. I do like how the 4 get scenes to themselves though, like Ari singing on a laundromat, Akali in the subway, Evelynn gets a car, and Kaisa in a tunnel? Another cool thing that was done was the lighting. They got their own lighting style. Flashing for Ari, sagging for Kaisa, Blacklight for Akali, and Backlight for Evelyn. And when you have it in combination, amazing! 10 out of 10, under 100, best shot, best shot, best shot. The dancing is cool, the music is catchy, the song deserves the amount of praise it did. And I expect Popstars to be number one for a lot of people. It tops a lot of cinematics. Popstars is a fantastic video, and you know the best part? There's gonna be more. Why wouldn't there be more? The song charted. No, seriously. The song charted on, like, everything. They'll make more, and I'm really excited when they do. But while we wait, why not start a virtual YouTuber channel, like Kizuna Ai or Himehine? I really think they'll become the most subscribed YouTuber in all of YouTube.
Fuck you!
Number 1. Get Jinx. Sorry KDA fans, but there's only one queen in League. The Queen of Anarchy, that is. Get Jinx had the purpose of hyping the, at the time, new character to League of Legends, and it succeeded. The combination of music and way that they characterize her makes a perfect combination for me. I actually consider it a perfect video. The video shows, not tells, in its introduction of Jinx. So let's calm down and rationalize it all by going through it. So how do they introduce Jinx? Well, they introduce her with a bang as she's seen running a missile into Piltover. Interspersed with a toy monkey with symbols, some things to note as we see Jinx for the first time, the camera doesn't give a good view of her as the camera's behind or to the side. This extends to her in the hallway scene and when she rides a missile into the building. It's not until 53 seconds in do we finally see her face. And as we see her face, she bites her lower lip. A small thing that just adds character to her. From there, it's high octane energy as we get to see what Jinx is all about. Guns, explosions, anarchy, just to name a few. The next scene is of Jinx with her minigun shooting at some robots. And I like this part because at first, she has a bashful expression, looking away from what she's shooting. But we quickly see that she's got a euphoric glee in what she's doing, and that sets the tone through the whole thing. From dancing with robots, freeing animals, notice the paint. She lives for chaos, and I empathize with her enjoyment. I mean, who doesn't have chaos in them? There's a part where the energy kinda settles down, and you see Jinx pass the time doing Jinx things, messing with a balloon, lying around. Nice way to use the bridge of the song here. And don't forget about the bathtub scene. Nice. The climax is her using both her weapons to defeat the robots, and ends with a giant monkey toy. As she confronts it, she wakes up. All for it to be a dream. And that's the cinematic. Visually, Get Jinx is colorful, and it's a visual treat. Something that people may not notice is that there are 2D elements. I'm not quite sure on backgrounds, but the smoke and gunshots are obviously 2D animation. It complements the CG and gives it a whimsical feeling. Fitting since it's all a dream. The music really makes this video. It's synced extremely well to the scenes. It's high energy, meant to hype you up. And the chorus section of I want to try something fun right now, I guess some people call it anarchy, is utter perfection in describing her. But to be honest, the whole song describes her. I just happen to like the vocals when the singer yells out anarchy. The song is really good, and I'll pop it on at random just to go crazy to it. So that's Get Jinx. I think it stuck out so much because it was the only one of its kind. Sure, it is Varus and Amumu's video which have music and develop their character in much the same way, but we never got a champion reveal that was as fun and crazy as this one. So you're probably still wondering why did Get Jinx get number 1. I'm crazy to put it above the likes of Popstars or Awaken, which obviously animates better, and for a number of people have a better song attached to it. Well, there are a number of reasons, but the simplest one, which only applies to those two, is that they're ensembles. Ensemble works usually encompass a number of individuals which can attract attention, and that's what I felt when I watched Awaken and Popstars. I want to see more Riven, more Star Guardians, more KDA, and not getting enough leaves me feeling empty inside. I'm not kidding. While I love watching Popstars, I literally get depressed at the end because there's not another KDA video. It's like eating a really good French fry. You can't expect me to be satisfied with just one. While I'm getting a very high quality experience, I expect proper screen time, which you're not giving me. But Get Jinx is different. It's just all about her. Just pure, unadulterated attention. Set in a fun package. Its simplicity is its strength. So why not rank them lower? Well, they're still well made, aren't they? Doing this top 11 video, I found there aren't enough cinematics to make a consistent list. I could have gone with a more lore focused list or whatever, but there's clearly not enough videos for that, so I had to be pretty broad in selection. By ranking all of them, you have to take into consideration a lot of factors: quality of animation, champion favoritism, story content. Of course, I'm going to rank videos that have characters I like a lot more, but I think I found a relative balance and ranked them fairly. However, I think I'm going to have people complain that a lot of my top ones are music videos, but it's just that they're so high quality. You can't deny the fact that they're really good. I did say earlier that Riot have come a long way in their cinematics. It looks like Riot have found their groove now, and are even giving Blizzard a run for their money. We'll see in a few years whether Riot can produce a cinematic that will dethrone my holy trinity though, but I think... Oh god dang it! Right, put them on number one! Put them on number one!